So before we install a new pad, we want to verify the flatness flat. So here we have this flatness gauge on the tool, and Vince is swinging it across, and you can see it's staying very flat. This is well within 2 microns across. It's certainly less than 5 at any point along here. We're starting with a nice flat platen, and we don't need gauge blocks here because the platen is nice and flat. What is that you're using? What liquid is that?
So this is acetone to remove any oils, or methylethyl ketone. Either will work. Once you wipe it, let it dry for about 5 to 10 minutes so that there's no remaining solvent on there.
So Vince is pulling back the liner halfway on this pad. This is a Trizac diamond tile pad that we're going to install on the tool. He pulls it back halfway so that he can line it up on one edge. And so opposite the liner is where he'll attach it first. And then the key idea here is to avoid catching a bubble or stretching the polycarbonate as he moves his way around. So by using the roller in this way, he can keep the I can hold here. Okay. He can prevent bubbles from getting underneath, and we can get a nice flat Trizac diamond tile pad. Nice and easy, done. Notice that there are some holes in this pad that we will use as a reference for the pad wear during its use. On the top pad with the slurry holes cut, Vince has taken the liner completely off, and we'll attach to the top platen with the aid of a mirror that we have. On larger tools you wouldn't need a mirror, you can just see it. So he's going to line this pad up. And again, the main idea here is to prevent bubbles from forming. So you move from one side to the other as you move around, and it's attached. And now, in order for us to get this pad completely adhered, we're going to put the top and bottom together with some pressure. So it's a pressure sensitive adhesive, so applying pressure will activate it more aggressively, and he's applying all the pressure that this tool can provide for 10 minutes to an hour, you know, whatever you want to apply. But 10 minutes is probably enough for it to adhere nicely. We've had the pad being pressed for 10 minutes, so Vince is going to lift it off, and we're going to prepare the tool next to get Trizac diamond tile ready. We need to break the pad in, and we're going to use, go ahead and swing it open, we're going to use grinding stones to get the pad nice and flat, top and bottom, and to expose diamond. So what we're going to want to do is take off about 50 microns of pad height. So the first thing we're going to do is measure how tall the features are now, and then we'll measure it again afterwards. So Vince is now going to measure these the depth of the holes and get a reference point. So he'll So now that we have a reference for how high these features are, we'll know when we have removed 50 microns. Up here to begin the conditioning, we've got Laminex carriers holding some stones that are 600 grit silicon carbide. These stones are 1/4 inch wide, 2 inches long, and we're going to apply about 1 psi. Vince is going to get the pad wet first with some water, and then we're going to add water at about 50 milliliters a minute. This pad dimension is these are 18-inch diameter pads on this particular tool. Go ahead, Vince. Which way, left or right? So there's the flow rate. So it's going to be about 1 psi, and what kind of RPM are you going to take it up to? About 60?
Probably about 50.
About 50 RPM. And the idea here is to generate some slurry. These grinding stones will shed particles, and it's actually the particles that will condition the pad and wear it. So Vince, how long will you run this in order to get about 50 microns off?
I'll run this about 5 minutes for a brand new pad to break it in to remove about 40 to 50 microns.
Okay, so 5 minutes to remove 40 to 50 microns under these conditions. And the pad we'll make sure the pad is flat afterwards as well. Notice how the stones are extending out off the edge of the pad on both the inside and the outside. This is really important to get the pad flat. Okay, we're done with the conditioning, so I'm going to take a look at the pad. And you can see that there's quite a bit of slurry on the pad now. And notice that we have the conditioning stones located on the outside perimeter of the carriers. This is also really important in order to get the pad flat, because if we have some on the inside, we'll wear too much on this part of the pad. So this, we're going to now take these off and verify that the pad is indeed flat. So we're going to rinse the pad so that we can measure the how much material we removed by measuring the pad thickness again. So we're going to again measure the pad thickness and make sure that we've gotten 50 microns of pad height removed. So now that we've verified that we've taken out 50 microns during the conditioning process, we know the pad is properly broken in. We want to verify that the pad is flat. So Vince has positioned the gauge blocks onto this pad, and we will set our gauge on, and we can see that Yeah, wow, nice and flat. That's about 2.5 microns flatness on an 18-inch diameter pad.